Merci. Monsieur le Président, chers frères, je suis vraiment ému par cet accueil très très chaleureux, très fraternel. Et laissez-moi vous dire au nom du peuple congolais tout entier, le peuple qui en ce moment ne passe pas de bons moments.
Going through good times because of the aggression that they are a victim of. But allow me to tell you,
un grand merci à vous.
Thank you to you and through the people of Botswana for this welcome, a warm welcome. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, distinguished guests, my delegation and I are very happy with the warm welcome that President Mokwetsi Eric Masisi, as well as the people of Botswana, who have welcomed me here in my first visit of state in your beautiful country. Your country, yes, is beautiful. I went around with a tour guide, of a very, very good tour guide who showed me all the neighborhoods and of the capital. On the journey that was leading us to the hotel, the hospitality that you have kept for us touches me. I see my picture almost everywhere in the city, which shows the joy that you have. I am also very touched, Mr. President and dear brother, for your by your friendly words that you just pronounced to me and my country as well. And especially when it comes to the will that you have to come together, to bring our countries together, because I know they were already very close. In Congo, we know the young or the younger generation, they know the name of Ketumile Masire, which is a very historic name in our country, because this great man was working by giving himself the time and the energy in order to reconcile Congolese people. And I believe that we must remain in the straight line or in the path of that great man and keep on preaching peace, unity, as well as solidarity between ourselves, Africans. And as on our side, we would like to place this visit as a sign of friendship, and my presence in your midst today brings a very great testimony. I'm particularly happy to notice that the exchange, a fruitful exchange with my brother, President Masisi, in the nature of favoring the progress in bilateral friendship with our country, but mostly to bring forward a strategic partnership profitable to our two countries. We have exchanged in the perspective of deepening our bilateral cooperation and extending it in different areas of development and focus on 6 major sectors of common interest to our countries, namely agriculture, education, the mines, investment, defense, as well as security, and also commerce. And when it comes to the mining sector, the Democratic Republic would like to lean on the experience of Botswana for the transformation or local transformation of its mineral. I've also done in my country the local transformation of our minerals a priority. Mines generally in Democratic Republic of Congo don't work very well, because the mines in the Congolese mind or understanding have caused us more problems than solutions. And when we talk mining in the Congo, we talk about war, violence, and poverty, while it should have been the contrary. And I really committed myself that Congo should stop to be a country of extraction alone, to see its country being emptied from its substance by simply leaving holes dug for this mining exploitation and going to transform these resources elsewhere, while it is on that ground that those resources were supposed to be transformed in order to add a value and create wealth, and most especially employment. That is my priority, and that's the reason why I am coming to come and inspire from the example of Botswana, because the industry of diamond in Botswana is a source of creation of new employment, with the implementation of more or less 20 factories of local transformation. Mining companies should put in place a plan of mining mineral transformation in the country. And we gave them an ultimatum that expired in 2021, which compelled all the mining partners to have transformation factories before they export these minerals. So we are in a second issue, but the Congolese law compels those who are interested in extraction and mining exploitation to transform them in the country. The vision and my desire is that the natural resources of my country should no longer be exploited but must be transformed locally. Ladies and gentlemen, the process of Nairobi and Luanda, as well as the last extraordinary meeting of the Troika of the organ, which took place yesterday in Windhoek, in Namibia, and the countries that are contributing troops to the MONUSCO, they figured in a good space in our conversations. And the last massacre of Kizimba and Kishishe in the province of North Kivu are also now in the list of atrocities of the group of M23, which have not stopped killing in that province of the east of my country. But facing these attacks of terrorist groups that are supported by Rwandese forces, the Democratic Republic of Congo has never bowed down. And here I want to say that we are going to do all our best to protect our population and stop these dark forces, to stop our walk towards progress. At the end, we have deliberated on regional questions as well as international in mutual interest, and precisely we explored the possibility of reinforcing bilateral cooperation when it comes to security, and in the effort of fighting organized crimes, as well as destabilizing the region of Southern Africa. And we have also spoken about consequences of the climate changes that is unfortunately taken in a lot of victims in the Democratic Republic of Congo, and again, unfortunately, in the region of the East, causing more than 400 deaths right now because of the floods that as a sliding of ground that has taken with it many of our countrymen. And we have also spoken about the human trafficking and terrorism and vandalism, which are crimes, organized crimes that are actually affecting our both countries. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, here are some of the summaries or conclusions that I take from our exchange of this afternoon, and naturally I place myself at your disposal to answer any eventual questions. I thank you, and once again, thank you, President Masisi, and all the people of Botswana in the name on behalf of my delegation and myself and all the Congolese people, really thank you.
I thank both of the excellencies for the few remarks that they have delivered. It is now time to open the floor to journalists. And as I said, one question per each journalist. The first round has 4 questions. Can I see by show of hands? Oh, sorry. So, announce your name. And there's a roving mic. Announce your name and the media you're working for, whether public or private.
Good afternoon, His Excellencies and distinguished guests. My name is Raida Habatusi. I'm from Miri newspaper. My question is directed to His Excellency Tshisekedi. I heard you mentioning trouble in Eastern DRC. Now, I understand your country is completing voter registration as preparation for the impending election, as traditionally you hold your elections in December 20. Amid such security concerns in areas North Kivu and Ituri, I want to know, with such trouble, how is this going to affect the process to its end of the elections? Thank you.
Oui, merci.
Thank you.
Ce que je peux vous dire,
so what I can tell you is that up to now, only the region of the east that I have mentioned here, all the process of voter registration has been done very well. The country was divided by 3 zones by the Electoral Commission, East, Center, and West. And the registration started last December, starting with the Western region. Everything went well. Only the issue was a problem around Kinshasa, where there were some uprising, but there are solutions that are being put in place. And then we went to the central region around January, mid-Jan, and to finish it was the eastern region in the north of Kivu, mostly, and a little bit in the province of Ituri, because obviously of the events that have taken many displaced people of war. We are unfortunately facing difficulties in order to enroll these voters, and we are thinking with the Electoral Commission on what to do next when it comes to this situation. There are many possibilities. Here I would like to say that for us, we have never forecasted to leave anyone behind, especially the countrymen who also have the right to partake in this electoral process. That's the reason why we have accepted and happy with the force of the Eastern community troops, which for now had to accompany the forces of the Democratic Republic of Congo to impose a peace by trying to stop the M23, which is supported by Rwanda, to stop hostilities. Unfortunately, we noticed that certain contingencies amongst these forces, when it also not mentioning the contingent of Burundi, who is actually putting all the efforts in the mission as it was defined, but other contingencies are not actually taking it to the end. They are actually now living together with M23, raising taxes in the zone that they are illegally occupying. And that is, as I was saying, a very genuine problem when it comes to the mission assigned to that force, and also compels us to have the problem of the mission. What is actually the purpose of that mission when it comes to the East African? So the president of Burundi, Evariste Ndayishimiye, recently has confirmed the taking place very soon of a meeting of heads of state of that region, so that we can evaluate the situation as I've described it. But since yesterday, the Congolese people and myself particularly, firstly, we were happy with the decision taken by our regional organization of the SADC, which unanimously, with the meeting of the organ of the Troika countries, which was spread out to certain countries like Angola that are piloting the process of peace in Luanda. So I was saying we are happy of that manifestation of solidarity of the countries of the region for the people of Congo. And also for those who do not know, who are not aware, it was decided to commit very soon the forces of SADC to work together with the forces of the Democratic Republic of Congo to fight against this problem that is threatening not only the stability of the region, but also the stability of institutions in general. Because you know the electoral process is one of the means to affirm or to strengthen democracy and alternance in a state. And when this is not done or done in a bad condition, that can lead in more issues. That's the reason why we are happy with this initiative of SADC, of the countries of our organization of SADC, and very soon we are going to clarify things, because that is going to be done under the coordination of the Democratic Republic of Congo, and that also compels us to clarify things according to the East African force, as I was saying to you, which have shown its limitations. We are then going to have to discuss all of that, but the purpose here, as I told you, is to stop M23 as all the other forces or around the region, in order to get peace, or rather to be squashed. That is more or less, I hope I've answered your question.
Your Excellency would want to come now.
The President has answered adequately. Looking at the other hands.
Lady here from the DRC to ask a question.
Bonsoir, Excellence. Je suis Sandra Mbombo de la presse présidentielle de la République démocratique du Congo. J'ai une question pour vous. Excellence, hier vous avez participé au sommet de la SADC qui a décidé de déployer ses troupes dans l'est de la République démocratique du Congo. Présentement, l'opinion se demande que devient la force de l'EAC.
Mais je crois que je viens de le...
The purpose of the Eastern forces, I believe I just said it. We have done with the help of our Minister of Foreign Affairs. We have solicited the General Secretary of the Organization of the Eastern Africa. We were asking for the mandate to be prolonged of the East African forces. So therefore, the request of the General Secretary of that organization is to once again give them 6 months more, 6 more months, because the previous 6 months ended in the month of March. But our answer was to give them 6 more months, but I mean, to give them more time, but only 3 months up to the month of June. during which we are going to evaluate, as I said here, we are going to evaluate the situation because there are problems of functioning problem in this with this regional force. The first, I listed it here. The first reason that pushes us to ask ourselves questions is the role of that was assigned to this regional force, which is not fulfilled. Today, in certain regions, there is a cohabitation that we have noticed between the contingents of the regional forces of Eastern Africa and also the terrorists of M23, which was not the plan. The question, we had to stop working together with the forces of Democratic Republic of Congo so that we can get peace. It means to have a ceasefire, the retreat. But unfortunately, today we notice that there are forces that are tolerating that. And we also have some officers, either from the countries of these contingencies, where the military officers of those countries, while they get when reaching in DRC, they clearly say they are not coming to fight M23, which was not part of a plan. And then with that, there's the problem of the commander of the force himself. You heard Mr. General Jeff Garde, who left in a spectacular way. We're talking about threats. He's talking about threats, but he has never told us anything about those threats. Why did he not tell us about the threats? He alone knows. And when he decides to leave the Democratic Republic of Congo, Kenya directly designs or sends another commander of the force without consultations, as if that force only belonged to Kenya. So there must be a problem. So we need to talk about it in order to clarify the situation. And because the mandate is almost is ending in the month of June, if by that time we estimate that the mandate was not fulfilled, then we are going to decide to send those contingents with honor and thank them for having tried to bring their share of contribution to peace in the Democratic Republic of Congo. And then we're going to see how we can carry on our own, trying to bring peace in our country. Since yesterday, we have the confirmation of the coming of the forces of SADC, which we have to put in place. And moreover, what was decided when it comes to Angola is to also send certain forces or troops, but that was rather for the purpose of facilitating the retreat of the terrorist forces, so that they might not have the impression that as soon as they are removed, we are going to, fight with them and obviously apply certain violences on them. So we just want to assure them that Angolans are coming, and we hope that as they arrive, they are going to facilitate the process. So you can see that until now, we subscribed ourselves in a process of peace, because we want to see peace come back very quickly. And that's the reason why quickly in the coming weeks, we are going to start the process of the returning of our countrymen that were displaced by war, who are living in inhuman conditions. And today we've got cholera that has attacked and contaminated certain of these countrymen, and obviously with the risk of spreading out in these regions. So there is an urgent need, as you can see, to bring everybody back home, because first of all, it's their right to live decently everywhere and in peace, and also because there is that electoral process that is coming, in which they have the right to be part of.
Third question. light over here.
Good afternoon, Your Excellencies. Latile Mutle from Duma FM. Is the DR Congo willing to sell a large chunk of her diamonds to Botswana? To our Excellency, is Botswana willing to accept the DR Congo diamonds comfortably, given that it's a conflict-ridden country?
Would you like to begin, Your Excellency? Are you willing?
Oui. Je peux peut-être...
Yes, I can briefly answer to say that when it comes to the diamond sector, we don't have a lot of problems. Diamond is no longer in the Democratic Republic of Congo, is not considered as a conflict mineral. Firstly, because the zone you find diamond in the Democratic Republic of Congo is not is a conflicted zone currently, and most of also moreover. Because there is today in the diamond sector what we call the process of Kimberley, which is a mechanism which allows the traceability of diamond. In order, obviously, to attest at the end of the chain that it is clean diamond, that is without blood or coming from the production of the work of children or women in the mines and so on. So when it comes to that, there are no problems. I can reassure President Masisi he can accept a diamond from the Democratic Republic of Congo, because it is a diamond which is in fact accepted everywhere in worldly places where this precious mineral is sold.
Thank you very much for the question. Thank you, Your Excellency, for the answer. Mine's very brief. We're a country known for our rigor in terms of the meeting of certain standards, and His Excellency alluded to those with respect to diamonds. The Kimberley process is the gold standard, and he did say that they sell through using that same standard. You may have also heard earlier, both he and I spoke to the decision that we took to develop a bilateral program. Among the areas we'll focus on will be to do with diamonds, to do with natural resources. And it is the enhancement of everything to do with those. And so if there's any doubt, watch this space as we collaborate. Thank you.
The fourth question and the first round goes to you.
Bonsoir, Excellence, Monsieur le Chef d'État.
Good evening, Excellencies, Heads of State. I'm Guilain Kabalundi from the Cell of Communication of the Democratic Republic of Congo. I'm asking this question to the President of Botswana. Excellency, concretely, how the share of experiences will take place between Botswana and the Democratic Republic of Congo in the diamond area? Are we going to expect experts next month in the DRC to come and tell us and give us more training?
Thank you. We did agree with His Excellency that our two ministers of foreign affairs will, sooner than yesterday, or as soon as possible, work out a program of collaboration in which diamonds and our collaboration to do with those will be a part, and all to do with it. So as soon as that is finished and sanctioned by the two governments, voila, everything goes. But because you are anxious, as soon as we agree that those of DRC are coming here, those from Botswana are going to DRC. It's starting to, on Thursday, His Excellency President Tshisekedi with his team are going to our diamond mine. No, Wednesday. Thursday. Following that, he's going to Ogovango Diamond Company. Following that, he's going to HB Botswana. So you can tell the collaboration has already begun. But it really started when you got into the car at the airport. At the presidential level, you know, Diamond Expertise Presidential, quote unquote, we have already started. So it's sooner than next week.
We have finished with the first 4 questions. I need other people to ask questions. Maria?
Maria Lishongwane, Botswana Press Agency. Thank you, Your Excellency. Congratulations on the first peaceful transfer of power following the 2018 election. We hope it will continue with future elections. I would like to ask you on the establishment of political dynasties in African countries, including Botswana. There is a belief that political dynasties tend to limit political competition. They encourage corruption, abuse of power. They encourage tribalism and instability. How can you, SADC, ensure that this doesn't happen in the region? Thank you.
So you are talking about the region in general or only the Democratic Republic of Congo, Madam?
In Africa.
In Africa. Bon.
Well, what can I say about all these issues that are unfortunately affecting the good governance of our state, if it's not that we are committed to fighting all those issues. I said just now, President Masisi, in our talk, that I was deeply attached to solidarity between Africans. And I believe that this evil or these issues that you have raised, corruption, tribalism, injustices, they actually went across our continent for, unfortunately, very long years, many years. But I'm not saying we are out of it, but it's unfortunately it has been inherited from the colonizer who wanted to divide us in order to maintain his rulership and dominion on our people. But we must also question ourselves and also know that this is a weakness, a real weakness that we must fight. We must fight all these issues. Corruption, when it mines a state, it pushes it to failure. And I can tell you, and I'm talking to you knowing what I'm talking about, because the Democratic Republic of Congo knows these issues for very many years. And since I'm there, I have undertaken to fight it by instituting the finance inspections of finances, which is an organization of state linked to the presidency, which the purpose is to visit all the financial management of the public organs in order to see how we can end this bad governance. And I did not hesitate also to take my staff in order to go in the communities in the Democratic Republic of Congo who were actually trying to go into tribal tensions and to bring them back to order and remind them that we are the same state, the same people, that we need to banish this kind of habits and practices. For me, I don't see any other solutions, but only to come together and to fight with determination this issue. Unfortunately, it's a part of our culture. We have to mention it. We have to be honest. Today, the first reflex of every African citizen is firstly to look, or not, maybe not all of them, all of us, but most Africans, we all first go back into our tribe. But we must have as a habit to refer ourselves to institutions, because institutions are the guarantors of equality to every citizenship. These institutions, once they are democratic, they protect all the individuals in the same manner. So we must develop. This is our work, our duty, us as governors of African countries, to develop this culture, because a culture is acquired, which means it's possible. We are a gathering of old kingdoms, traditional kingdoms that have become modern states. So maybe it is a difficult transition to do, but not impossible. So I believe that we must think, and with determination, we are going to get there.
Thank you very much. Can I venture to add to what His Excellency said? And might I plead with you, President Sabin, or in the interest of time, that we perhaps draw to a close. Thank you for the very good question. Let me begin by saying that the word dynasty, when you attach it to politics and leadership, always contrives negativity. There's a negative connotation to it. And therefore, the outcome would be negative, particularly when you're associated with the ideals for which many countries have pledged to stand by, particularly when you're associated with the very foundational principles of the AU and preceding it the OAU, and all manner of regional organizations, including the electoral principles, which is democratic. Dynasty, democracy are inimical to each other. One is the antithesis of the other. So they do not converge. And so in the case of our stated position as African leaders, we abhor the backsliding of democracy. We abhor the removal of legitimate governments and they being replaced by illegitimate governments. We abhor coup d'etats. In fact, early on in the days of the OAU, there was a very strongly enforced sanctioning of those who, although it weakened over time, of those who took power by the barrel of the gun. And recently, we have been screaming at the top of our voices through different fora where we are witnessing a backsliding of democratic dispensation and behaviors. And as you well know, in Botswana, we have talked strongly against it. But if the dynasty you are thinking of was not meant to have negative connotations, if it is a dynasty as a result of democratic behaviors, then you are asking the wrong people. You must ask the voters. If the voters seem to like a particular pattern, despite there being a presence of freedom for them to participate as they wish in the attempt to interest different bodies to lead a country, then you may wish to alter the caricaturing of that as being dynastic. It's an outcome. And I want to zero in on Botswana because since 1965, when we had our first elections, the Botswana Democratic Party has won every election. So it's quite a lazy definition or labeling to say we are a dynasty. Go and ask our voters. They made us who we are. We were more successful earlier. We are not as successful now. It's a contest. You must also ask Isaac Makwala, you must also ask Amante Monso, ask Tebo Holitsile, You know, ask Usain Bolt. If they keep winning, what do you call it? As long as you play according to the rules established, I don't think we should attach a negative connotation to it. And yes, as long as there's negativity and ulterior motives, that's a recipe for corruption. That's a recipe for dictatorship. That's a recipe for backsliding, the abuse of human rights, etc., etc. So I challenge the nomenclature, but you may get away with it by contextualizing it. But that's my answer. We do not, as Africans, including His Excellency, tolerate it. We have engaged intensely, not just on this visit, but before, where he has shared his own vision for the DRC, and he wishes for it, nothing but the best, so that there is a free competition of ideas and people will select their government. But you submit to that by also submitting to playing by the rules for everybody. So thanks for asking the question. It gives an opportunity to elucidate what we are and who we are. And this is not unique to Africa, by the way, because you are zeroing in on Africa. There's a backsliding of democratic behaviors in some of the most well-known countries in the world, who, for purposes of our engagement this afternoon, shall remain nameless. You can give them a name as you please. Don't tell me. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I was minded to actually stop the question and answer session because it is dragged on for much longer, and I had been conversing with the people closer to me. So I do take cue from His Excellency Dr. Masisi in saying this must be drawn to a close. I'm just wondering whether they do have any last words that they would want to say in closing so that we draw this session completely to a close.
Your Excellency. Do you want to summarize, close?
Yes, thank you for the honor that you are giving me to close this beautiful exchange. And I am going to close it by saying, first of all, thanking you for this welcome, and also thanking ladies and gentlemen of the press for these questions which allowed their opinion to once more be edified, I hope. And essentially through this exchange, two big ideas from my summary is firstly that concerning peace, security, stability in the Democratic Republic of Congo, and also the need, the urgent need to go towards peaceful elections by involving everyone, our voters, obviously, in this process and leaving no one behind. And the other idea is, or the great idea that comes from this, is the exchange of the cooperation between our two countries, the Botswana and the Democratic Republic of Congo. Exchanges on many areas or sectors or many disciplines, many areas, which are all focused towards the interests between our countries and our people, respective people. We are going to commit ourselves firmly so that this cooperation may take a speed, a very high speed, to allow our countries to take a maximum of full profit. I am one of those who encourage the exchange, commerce between Africans, between African states, because obviously, unfortunately, in economic exchanges, Africa exchanges more with other continents than exchanging between Africans. We have a common market of more than 2 million people, billion people, so we have the possibility of becoming the richest continent of the world. So we only need to look in the right direction to take good decisions, to make sure that the weapons are not going to speak in Africa any longer, to once again bring our states together so that this dream or this purpose really become a reality. And I am one of those leaders together with I'm certain with President Masisi, because it's very interesting to exchange with him and listen to what he has as a vision and propositions for, at the same time, his country and for Africa. I'm really very happy to see this generation of African leaders who are focused towards the fight against these issues that are harming our economies. We talked about corruption, we talk about impunity and anti-values that are bringing our populations to divide instead of coming together. So we are of that generation that really want to bring our countries to everything that we see we have today as a politic of development. And I really promise to commit myself on it, and I believe President Masisi is not going to contradict me, because he also holds on the defending these values. That's what I can say in conclusion. At the same time, asking for the grace of God so that he may allow our relationship between the Republic of Botswana and Democratic Republic of Congo, that it can only go from strength to strength and remain excellent. And I thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Let me begin by confirming that I would not contradict you. I can only amplify and confirm and give credence to what you say. I want to leave you with a parting shot. Botswana is very intentional about wanting to deepen its relationship with the DRC. Very intentional. As the world witnesses an increasing choking of its ability to breathe, and we see it through the effects of climate change, not on the main caused by Africa, but Africa bearing the most brunt that comes with it, as we've witnessed recently in the devastation that the DRC suffered in the mudslides, for which we've extended our deepest sympathies and have offered rudimentary support that we will extend and share with the DRC. But as the world chokes, it is meat, it is smart to befriend the bearers of the biggest lungs of the world on the continent, and that's the DRC. So we come close to DRC to get an opportunity to breathe. But we don't come in desperation only. We come with the support, solidarity, and assistance we can give to ensure that their lungs function most efficiently for the benefit of humankind. So I want to thank you, Your Excellency President Chilombo, for your humanity as a country, that which you do for the world, and for us too as a people. And know and go around telling the whole world that Botswana is your friend. Don't be shy. We will not be. So we stand together. We're going to work together. The outcomes are going to be beneficial to both of us. There will be mutual benefit, there will be reciprocity. And many of you do not know that at a personal level, we really get along well. We also have mutual friends. Our wives get along very well. And he's going to return this visit. I'll tell you when we meet next time. Good evening.
Good evening. Ladies and gentlemen, it's befitting to give a round of applause to the delivery that has been given to us. And indeed, we are pleased to see that there is prosperity and the light at the end of the tunnel. It's not too long. Thank you very much. Yeah. As they are ushered out, we'll stay still until they have departed from the arena, and then we'll follow through. Thank you, sir.